If you had to clean this bathroom behind me, would you rather clean it like this? Or would it be more enjoyable to clean a bathroom that looks like this? I know for me, my personal experience is that when a room is very simplified, when there's not a lot of stuff out, I actually kind of enjoy cleaning it. It comes very natural to me to want to keep it clean and tidy, and it does not feel overwhelming. However, once it gets to this point, I tend to avoid it. It feels very hard to clean it, and whenever there's stuff out, it seems like it signals to my family that it's okay for more stuff to get left out, and it quickly snowballs into a space that is overwhelming for all of us. We are all trying to navigate these systems and figure out the best way to keep our house clean and tidy, to know how far to go with decluttering. And in the past, I've thought this is kind of an arbitrary process, that there's trial and error and it's a little bit different for everyone. But now I think we have concrete evidence to know exactly how far we need to go to not only keep our house clean, but to know how much stuff to get rid of it from well. So there's 3 parts to this truth. I think it's finding the truth about our stuff. There's 3 parts to it. There's ancient wisdom. There's the wisdom that has stood the test of time. There's new research. What is science saying about this and how much stuff we should have? And then there's our personal experience. And all 3 of these are equally important, and they all work together for each of us to find that line between too little and too much. So that's my personal experience. Now let's look what new research has to say. So this just came out in Forbes this week, and there was research from the Journal of Applied Positive Psychology, and they wanted to explore the impact of minimalism on happiness, life satisfaction, and interpersonal relationships. And so there's some really interesting things they found that I'm gonna share with you as we go. But first, let's look at this one on autonomy. This theme encapsulates the feeling of freedom and liberation that comes with choosing a minimalist lifestyle. Participants in the study described how they previously felt trapped or burdened by their possessions and societal expectations. Through minimalism, they gained autonomy and were able to align their lives with their personal values and feel more authentic. Minimalism provided an escape from the monotonous cycle of consumerism, allowing them to pursue a life that felt true. And now let's look at some ancient wisdom. If you ever have the chance, observe how monks clean their temple grounds. Cleaning isn't considered burdensome or something you don't really want to do and wish to get over with as soon as possible. Cleaning is carried out not because there is dirt, but because it's a practice to cultivate the mind. And let's talk a little bit specifically about how they approach cleaning the bathroom. When guests use your bathroom, they're entering a private room alone. Since this is a place where one can let one's guard down, it is likely that they will notice even the minutest of details: a dirtied toilet, dust on the floor, an empty toilet paper roll. If the toilet is a poorly kept room where guests aren't able to relax, this will impact negatively on their impression of both your home and the head of the household. They will not feel truly welcome. Now, for most of us, that's our biggest horror, right? For a guest to stop by and our bathroom isn't clean. But again, if we're looking at this through the lens of how do I create a home that is super easy to keep clean and to keep everything under control, then naturally it would be very easy to keep it clean for guests as well. So I would ask you, what things might you remove from your bathroom so that it is super easy to keep clean? We've even gone so far as to remove rugs, and nothing sits on top of the toilet. They actually talk about monks cleaning their toilets twice a day. Can you imagine? But again, if we even considered this, you probably wouldn't let anything sit on top of it. You probably wouldn't have a rug around the base of it. We would remove a lot of these things to make cleaning so much easier. And that's definitely what we have found in our own home. Now, I first really became interested in this topic when I came across the book, A Monk's Guide to a Clean House and Mind. And this just started the rabbit trail. And I soon started discovering other books. But obviously, I'm like you, I don't have tons of extra time to read 4 books on this topic. And so that's what I love about Blinkist. Blinkist is such a cool tool. It's an app that allows you to get all the highlights, the main points of books that are really impactful and life-changing. And Blinkist has over 6,500 nonfiction books that they have boiled down to blinks. And what's so cool is that you can read them or you can listen to them. So I started out here, and then Blinkist helped me discover The Urban Monk, which I'm gonna talk about more. Also the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and another one that's really good, A Monk's Guide to Happiness. And what I love in the book, The Urban Monk, he acknowledges you don't have to abandon all your faith beliefs, but let's look at these principles about how cleaning, a very simple and monotonous task, helps us to process the day's events, to find peace. We're gonna talk about that more as we go. About meditation, we're like, I don't know what to do with that word meditation, but what if we just looked at it as focus, to be present right here, right now, for myself, but also for my family. And so these books have such powerful lessons in them, and I love how Blinkist makes it so simple to take the key points and begin applying them to your life today. So Blinkist helps me not only find new books that are related to the topics I'm interested in, but also to revisit the key points over and over again. And right now, if you use my link down below or scan the QR code, then you're gonna get to try out Blinkist completely free for 7 days and get 40% off a premium membership. This is so affordable for how much value can be added to your life through these really powerful books. So I will put a list of all of my favorite books down below. Now let's apply some of these ideas to the kitchen because this is really profound as well. Okay, now I know I don't have to ask you again, would you rather clean a messy kitchen or a clean kitchen? I remember often when I'm staying at like a Airbnb or a vacation rental, I always note that I don't mind cleaning and cooking when I'm there, and I really think that it is because it is such a highly simplified space. However, life happens and the inventory creeps up. The monk version is awesome too. We'll get to that. But how about the recent science? How about this? Competence. By reducing clutter and simplifying their environments, many participants reported gaining a greater sense of control and order. Before embracing minimalism, they often felt overwhelmed by chaos and confusion. With fewer possessions, however, they experienced reduced anxiety and stress. Through minimalism, they found it easier to manage their surroundings and consequently their lives. And many of us don't feel competent in the kitchen or in our house, but most of us don't attribute it to the clutter. We think, well, a good housekeeper would stay on top of the clutter, wouldn't have this. However, we can work backwards. We can declutter, remove stuff, and you will feel your confidence skyrocket. That's what happened for me. Now, let's hear what the monks have to say about it. They say that if a kitchen is kept in good order, anybody who needs to work there can immediately begin to do so with comfort and ease, keeping preparation times short and allowing delicious dishes to be served while they are still hot. When it comes to your dishes and utensils, wash immediately after use. This is the way of Zen monks. Do not leave this to be done the next day. The most important thing about washing dishes is not to allow them to pile up. In order to do this, number 1, visualize what kind of meal you're going to cook and use only the kitchen items necessary for this meal. For instance, if you only need 1 spoon or spatula, use only 1 spoon or 1 spatula. Number 2, use any free time during the cooking process to wash dirty dishes and tidy up the kitchen. If you're able to do these 2 things, the cooking process itself will become shorter. You will drastically reduce the amount of water you use for washing dishes and also the amount of time you spend clearing up after a meal. Cleaning up after cooking will become a breeze. And again, we have adopted a lot of this as modern wisdom. Clean as you go and definitely doing your dishes every single day. But why is that so hard for many of us? And I think it's the combination of clutter that has crept into our spaces and also not seeing cleaning as something that is important, as something that is, I don't know, I kind of want to use the word holy, but I don't want to over exaggerate, but that there is something about washing away the dirt of the day and leaving our space clean and tidy for the next day, that there is something important about this work, that it's not menial or that we're above it in some way. And I remember, when our kids were little and like, it was just laundry and dishes and laundry and picking up the same toys. And I do remember one day I was washing dishes by hand. I still prefer to wash them by hand. And looking out the window as I was washing them, I had my hands in the warm water and I was just thinking, I wasn't listening to anything. The kids were playing and I was like, oh, maybe we do have to do these like somewhat menial tasks every day because it really is the only time we give our brains a chance to process the day and to work through the things that we're feeling, which then does help us to be more present. So maybe some of these things that we have thought were unimportant, maybe they actually are a lot more important than we thought. Okay, let's talk about cleaning the floors because again, I did not see this as a spiritual practice in the past. It was more like a pain in the butt, right? But I think there's a big mindset shift that we could make here. So let's start with the ancient wisdom on this one. But for monks, the physical act of polishing the floor is analogous to cleaning the earthly dirt from the soul. Once you learn how to see how your inner turmoil manifests itself through your surroundings, you can reverse engineer this, mastering yourself by mastering the space in which you live. It goes without saying that dust will accumulate in a home that is never cleaned. Just as you have finished raking the leaves, more are sure to fall. It is the same with your mind. Right when you think you have cleaned out all the cobwebs, more begin to form. Adherence to the past and misgivings about the future will fill your head, wresting your mind from the present. This is why we monks pour ourselves heart and soul into the polishing of floors. Cleaning is training for staying in the now. Therein lies the reason for being particular about cleanliness. But now let's look at what the science has to say. Mental space. Participants described minimalism as creating mental space, resulting in a clearer, more focused mind. This connection between external and internal order allowed them to save mental energy, helping them enjoy an enduring sense of lightness and clarity. The absence of physical clutter led to less internal chaos, thus supporting the idea that our surroundings can directly impact our mental state. And again, if we go to our personal experience, many of us can relate to this. We know that we feel stressed out in a cluttered environment. It's just, it is how it is, right? But again, we haven't known where that line is. How far can we go with decluttering? And so I hope that you are seeing that if we begin to prioritize cleaning, if we recognize it as a really important act that we do every single day, and then bring our possessions into alignment with that, we are creating a peaceful home, but also cultivating a peaceful mind as well. So let's talk a little bit more then about how many possessions and what type of possessions we should have. Okay, we're gonna talk about stuff, but actually we're gonna have to go to the laundry room too, because I think you'll be intrigued by how they approach laundry too. But first, let's talk about our stuff. So the ancient wisdom. Nowadays, it's very easy to find a wide variety of items that are exactly alike and more or less serve the same function. When something breaks, rather than repairing it, many people buy a replacement because this is faster and cheaper. However, if you continue to live your life in this way, your relationships with others will begin to resemble how you relate to the objects. This will only lead to the exhaustion of your heart. On the other hand, if you use an object for as long as you can, carefully repairing it when necessary, you will find that not only your relationships with objects begin to change, but so will the way you relate to people. This will help return your heart to a pure state. Therefore, scrutinize merchandise thoroughly when you shop and consider whether or not you truly need an item before purchasing it. Also, consider whether or not you can live comfortably with it. Having fewer possessions in your home will make cleaning it much easier. There is an old Zen saying that goes, "Where there is nothing, there is everything." By letting go of everything, you can open up a universe of unlimited possibilities. When I'm looking at my experience of living as a minimalist for 9 years now, all of this is exactly in line. It's what I try to communicate through every video. Like, get rid of your stuff. You're not gonna miss it. The line between having too little and too much is so much further down here than any of us believe. But again, let's go back to the science for those of you who need all of this backed by actual research. Positive emotions. Ultimately, the combination of autonomy, competence, mental space, and awareness led to an increase in positive emotions among the study participants. They reported feelings of joy, peacefulness, and a general sense of well-being. The shift to a minimalist lifestyle appeared to serve as a catalyst for those emotions, as it enabled them to break free from the stress and anxiety that often accompanies a consumer-driven society. So again, our personal experiences, the science, ancient wisdom, they all tell us the same thing, that we can get by with so much less, and we're going to experience more joy and more peace of mind because of it. All right, let's go ahead into the laundry room for one more lesson. Okay, now before I read the ancient wisdom, I want you to know I'm not just aligning with this because it happens to be very similar to my laundry system, right? But all right, laundry needs to be done every day. Wash, dry, fold, put away. While doing this requires time and energy, one way to make laundry tasks less daunting is to reduce the amount of clothes you have to wash. However, it is vital that you complete your daily tasks on the day they should be done. If you put this philosophy into everyday practice, you will soon find a new rhythm to your life, something that will help more than anything else to wipe away impurities. However, if you neglect your duties, you'll find that your feelings, just like the laundry, have remained unwashed, allowing dirt to accumulate in your heart. The things you must wash and rinse your daily life are not limited to clothing. With just the smallest bit of neglect, the heart too can become neglected and begin to fill with worldly desires. This is why we must do the laundry. Isn't that so cool? And again, I think sometimes we're like, oh, like, are we really exaggerating, that the laundry and that it's tied to our heart and our impurities? But isn't there something about this that is resonating with you? That yes, there is something about taking care of our physical things in our physical environment that does have a huge impact on how we feel. So the last thing from this recent study says awareness. Minimalism also heightened participants' awareness of their values and what truly mattered in life. The newly created mental space facilitated reflection, mindfulness, and savoring. By reducing distractions, they could focus on their own growth and learn from new insights, ultimately allowing for a deeper appreciation for the world around them. And so isn't this what we all want? Isn't it what we want for ourselves and for our kids as well? Again, for me, the way that we have been able to get to a similar point and to achieve this and for cleaning really to be enjoyable is to highly reduce the inventory in our home, to significantly declutter. You know, I've said we've gotten rid of about 85% of our physical possessions, and we don't miss any of them. I don't want them back. Like I've often said, you couldn't pay me to take them back. You could probably pay me enough to take them back, because then I would just declutter them again because they have no value to me. If you have been feeling stressed and overwhelmed in your house, anxious, like you're not a good mom, like certainly not a good housekeeper, would you be willing to try this? Would you work on decluttering and simplifying and see if underneath it all that you might find some peace and a house that is really easy to clean and manage? It hardly takes any time to manage our home. It is so easy. And it's really easy to involve our family too, because I want my kids to gain from these same experiences as well. So if you need to do more decluttering, obviously I got you covered. We just need to hang out more. So I have lots of videos. I'm going to link here to my playlist of long format decluttering videos. They're great to put on in the background while you work, but hey, we'll just stick together, keep learning and growing together, keep moving stuff out. And before you know it, you can have a really peaceful house and mind too. I love you. I hope you have a really good day. And also, again, I subscribe to Christian beliefs, right? I don't know if I have to say that or not. Like most of you know that. I try not to be in your face about it. But also, I think we can learn so much from others, and I have enough confidence in my own beliefs that I don't worry about getting off track or anything like that. But how beautiful is this, and something we could all benefit from. So anyways, there's my disclaimer. I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.